So what department or organization do you work for?
So I work for the Department of Forestry and Environmental Conservation here at Clemson University.
What is your educational background?
I've got a bachelor's degree in environmental science from the University of West Florida, and a master's and a PhD in forest ecology from the University of Florida.
So how long have you been working in your respective field?
In my respective field, I guess it depends on how you define my respective field.
So how long have you been working in forestry?
In forestry, 20 years in January. Been in it since I was 19.
That's pretty cool. So what sparked your interest? So you've been keeping up with it for a while. Like,
Yeah.
why continue to keep on?
You know, I think like a lot of people in this field, and probably the same is true for you guys, you know, it starts with just a love and a passion for the outdoors. You know, I mean, I think every ENR, forestry, or wildlife student I've ever talked to, that's sort of our common thread, right? So that's where we started out. That's certainly how I started out. And then, you know, just a natural curiosity about the natural world led me to ask questions. You have a question, and there's so many unanswered questions in ecology that are just, you know, waiting for somebody to come answer them. And so for me, that's exciting to know that there's so much out there that we still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's neat that I can contribute in that capacity. I also found somewhere along the line, early in my career, that I really liked teaching. So it allows me to not only, in my current position, not only do I do research, I also get to communicate about science and get to share my excitement for the natural world with students.
You're a professor at Clemson.
So probably when I guess my first real exposure to teaching was when I was in the Peace Corps. So I lived and worked in Ecuador for 2.5 years, and then I did a lot of teaching when I was in the Peace Corps. And one thing that I learned, I've always been pretty introverted, not really good at talking in front of people. One thing that I learned in the Peace Corps is that you can overcome that, right? And so here I was in Ecuador talking about ecology, talking about all sorts of subjects, teaching students in my second language, Spanish. And then I realized, well, you know, if I can do this in Spanish, I can definitely talk about trees and forest ecology in English. It was a very empowering sort of experience for me, and I think led to me wanting to pursue a career in teaching, or a career that involved teaching. So when I was in graduate school, I also sought out additional opportunities to help further develop my teaching skills.
What kind of work do you do, like research outside the classroom?
Most of my research is fire related. So this is the Forest Ecology and Fire Science Lab. So I've got, I think, 5 graduate students now, and most of them are doing fire related research, mostly in the Southern Appalachians. So we're doing work with prescribed fires. For example, looking at the effects of burning in the dormant season versus burning in the growing season, and seeing how those fires might differ. We're looking at the after effects of the 2016 wildfires that we had in the Southern Appalachians. And we're also looking at, I've got a couple of long-term data sets where we're looking at how repeated fires, sometimes in combination with other treatments, how those might help us meet our longer-term restoration objectives. And been an opportunity to open up at Clemson. I've been here ever since.
The job title is GIS Manager, and we found it on scjobs.com.
A good creative inquiry for this job would be the application of geographical and soil information systems, taught by Elena Mikolova and Christopher Post, who are both in forestry and environmental conservation. And it works with soil, GIS software, statistical software, mapping, and studying different soil types and how they relate to geographical locations, and would help you get some hands-on experience with GIS before you became a GIS technician, and some real good field work.
So some of the classes you could take to prepare you for your job would be computer graphic imaging, GIS, and SIS application, wildlife management, and physical geology.